So please turn to page 43. These 4 questions, as you can see, question E and F, right? Looks a bit weird, right? It carries a fraction in a fraction, right? And then question F has exponent. So there's a little variation on the things that we need to do, okay? So we'll go over these 4 questions together. And then if we still have time, then you guys can work on the page 42, okay? So these 4, if you can do these 4, then you should have no problem with the homework, right? So same thing, right? We can start by factoring. So the common mistake is that you look at this question and you see, oh, we got 2x squared, let's cancel them out. I see a 4x squared, let's cancel them out. That's a totally no, right? Because add and subtract, right? We get add and subtract, that means they are together, okay? They are not factors, right? Factors must be separated by multiplying. So we cannot cancel them yet, right? You need to try to factor them into brackets. Okay, this one is a multiplication, so there's no reciprocal needed. So I'll let you guys do the factoring now. We have 3 terms, okay? So think about how to factor 3 terms. If you forgot, okay? So you can raise your hand after you finish all the factors. So total we get 8 of them, okay? We'll check one of them first. Aaron, for the first fraction numerator, what's one of the factor?
3x subtract
No? For question
2.
C, 3x subtract 2.
Oh, wait, for C. Oh, wait, no, never mind.
Yeah. Question for C, yeah. You did the wrong question?
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, we are on page 43. Okay, everyone, page 43.
Oh, wait, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's the wrong question.
Okay, it's okay. Yeah, so go on factor, okay. Yeah, the letter is a little bit messed up here, okay? Should be A, B, C, D. Okay, let me change it, okay? Should be A, B, C, D. Okay, so please change that.
Yeah, the top one is 2x plus 1 and then x subtract 3.
2x plus 1x subtract 3. Okay, let me see. So that's minus 6 plus 1. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And Colin, how about denominator for the first fraction?
2x minus 5 and x minus 3.
Okay, x minus 3. Okay, so that will be minus 6 minus 5. Yep, looks good. Okay, please raise your hand if you finished all the factors. So 3 terms, if you remember, you need to do cross multiplying. Okay, so check the factor polynomial section if you forgot how to do cross multiply, or let me know now, okay, if you forgot how to do it. Okay, for the second fraction, what's in the numerator? Aaron?
2x subtract 5 and then 2x plus 1.
2x plus 1. Okay, so that will give you minus 10 plus 2. Yeah, very good. Eric and Nathan, are you guys almost done? Okay, Yosher,
Almost
denominator, Yosher?
2x plus 1, 2x plus 1.
Yeah. Okay, so they are all factor now, right? They are all separated by multiplying. Okay, so each factor can cancel out the factor in the numerator, denominator. Okay, so do not cancel out denominator with the denominator. So for example, we can do x minus 3, right? Cancels out. X plus 1, 2x plus 1 is gone, right? We also have 2x minus 5, right? And then, oh, looks like everything's gone, huh? Everything's gone. 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1. So if everything's gone, what we write as the answer then, huh? Nathan, what do you think? What do we put as the final answer?
1.
1, yes, very good. Okay, I do see some people, they put 0 because they got too happy. Everything's gone, let's put a 0 there, okay? So answer should be 1. Right? Because when you do the canceling, it's dividing, right? If you have 5 divided by 5, it's actually 1. It's not subtracting, okay? It doesn't become 0. Now restrictions. Okay, Brennan, what will be the restriction for this one?
X cannot equal to 5 over 2, 3, and negative 1 over 2.
3 and negative 1 over 2. Yep, okay, very good. This one is multiplication, so you just focus on the denominator, okay? Look at the highlighted part. So no numerator for restriction here. Okay, let's look at dividing next part. Same thing, okay? You will start with factoring, but to save your step, you can reciprocal at the same time, okay? So you factor and then reciprocal at the same time. So please raise your hand once you got all the brackets figured out. So all of them can be factored. And as you can see, right, in the brackets, you probably will have X and Y, right? So for this one, each factor, you only need to isolate one letter, okay? X and Y, you isolate the X. You don't need to find restriction for both, okay? Does anyone have questions about factoring? Please raise your hand if you got all the brackets. Okay, Nathan, do you have the numerator of the first fraction?
I'm still doing it. Sorry, Jason.
The first one, just the first fraction. Do you have the top one?
I did it wrong. Sorry, Jason. I'm trying to redo it.
Okay, can you tell me what method do you use for the numerator? How do you factor the top?
I forget the name of it. It's I don't know what the name is, but you just like
Yeah, you can tell me what to do then. You have two terms, right? You can check the notes. Two terms, what method?
like the order of squares one.
Yeah, difference of squares.
Difference of squares.
Yes. Okay, so once you get the numerator, please tell me your answer.
Is it like 4x plus 9y, 4x take away 9y?
Okay, for the, yeah, we can review the difference of square, okay? First thing you need to figure out what square makes 4x squared, okay? And what square makes the 9y squared? Do you know? What times itself can become 4x squared?
2.
No, 2x, right? 2x times 2x will give you 4x squared. What about the second bracket?
3y.
Yeah. So that will be your two terms that you put inside each bracket, okay? So you should have 2x, 3y, 2x, 3y, and 1 is plus, 1 is minus. Okay, remember now? Okay, all right, Colin, what's the denominator?
2x minus 3y, 2x minus 3y.
Okay, so this one, both of them are the same, right? You could also write it as a square, 2x minus 3y, and then bracket square, or you write it separately. So three terms you use cross multiplying, okay? Now for the second fraction, after reciprocal, okay? What is on the numerator? Yosher, what's on the numerator?
3y minus 2x, 3y plus 2x.
Yep. Okay, so this is after reciprocal, right? So it used to be denominator, it goes on top. And Aaron, what's in the denominator?
2x plus 3y and 2x plus 3y.
Okay, so we get a square there, right? Two of the same thing. Okay, so lots of canceling here, but there is a little tricky part. Okay, I'll let you guys do the simple. Let's see. Okay, if you finish canceling, if you finish writing the restrictions and the final answer, please raise your hand. What's the final answer look like? Okay, raise your hand if you have the final. And restrictions, you just need the restriction for the x, okay? Please raise your hand if you have the final answer. Shouldn't be that difficult, right? It's already factored. We got through the hard part. Just canceling and write down what's left. Okay, Eric, do you have the final answer?
I have x equals negative 1.5 and 1.5.
I'm not we are not solving for x. We are canceling. What's the reduced?
Yeah, like the restrictions.
Not the restriction, okay? Your expression.
Oh, I have -1.
-1, okay. And anyone else? Got something different?
I just got one.
Huh, Brennan, what'd you say?
I just got one, just like a regular one.
Okay, just a regular one. Okay, so +1. Okay, anyone else? How about Colin? What do you have?
I have -1 too.
You have -1. Okay, let's start canceling. Okay, see what happens, whether it's 1 or -1. Okay, so 2x plus 3 canceled out with 2x plus 3, right? That's gone. 2x minus 3y, 2x minus 3y. Okay, and then we have, what else? We have 2x minus 2x plus 3y on the right side. 3y plus 2x, those are the same, right? Because adding, you can flip them around. Okay, it doesn't matter. Now the tricky part is this part, where you have 3y minus 2x, 2x minus 3y. It's subtracting, right? But then it's flipped around. So think about if I have 5 minus 2, 2 minus 5, right? When you flip around, the answer, would it be the same? It's different, right? One is 3, the other one is -3. So if it's subtracting, when you flip the order, you cannot count them as the same, okay? They are different. So for this part, I'm gonna do in 2 steps, okay? So after you cancel out everything else that's obvious, you are still left with 3y minus 2x, 2x minus 3y. But if you remember from factoring, we could do some change of the sign if they are opposite, okay? What you can do is you can factor out a negative from either the top or bottom. So let's say I take out from the top. I take a negative out, okay? Or take -1 out. then I can make the sign inside change. Okay, because if you multiply back in, it gets back to the same thing, right? So now if you check the brackets, 2x, right, 2x, negative 3y, also negative y. So these two parts are the same, so they can cancel each other out. Okay, so that's why it ends up with -1 at the end. So that's what makes this question a little bit trickier at the end. Okay, so remember, if it's subtracting and they are in opposite sign, you can factor a negative to make them the same. But if the sign is different, right, then even if you take out a negative, it's still different. You cannot cancel out. Now the restrictions, okay, restriction for dividing, you need to check all 4 places. I mean 3 places, right? Okay, so restrictions, can I have, Eric, you were saying restriction too, right? What was your restriction?
I think it was negative 1.5 and 1.5.
There's no y?
Oh, I'm not really sure about the y.
Okay, you need to take the
Would
bracket
it be
and then isolate the x. How do you do that?
x is not equal to 3y, like 2x is not equal.
Yeah, 2x cannot equal to 3y, and then?
You divide it by 2,
Yeah, so x cannot be
1.5y.
yeah 1.5y or 3y over 2, same thing. Okay, so 3y over 2, that's from the first bracket here, right? First and second are the same, and then you have the sign that's opposite, so that will give you negative, right? 2x plus 3y.
Oh, so you keep the y?
Yeah, because the bracket has the y, right?
Oh, okay, I see.
So x cannot be negative 3y over 2. If you have 2 variables inside the same brackets, then you just isolate one of the variable, right? So your restriction will include variables inside, okay? And then everything else are the same, right? Okay, so that's our answer, right? The one in the blue box and the red box, that's your final answer. Okay, last 2 questions here. The one that looks a little bit confusing, right? Any suggestion how to do this one? What is it talking about here? Why is it so tall? Colin, what do you think? How do we do this?
You factor them. Oh,
Okay, factor everything out. Sure, then probably it will look something like that. Right, then what? Let's say if you already factored. What do we do now?
and then you like cancel out the stuff.
Cancel out stuff, yeah, okay, that's very general, but which ones do we cancel? How do we know which ones to cancel?
You cancel out the first 2 on the top, and then
So let's call them, give them lines, right? Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. Which ones cancels out with which ones?
like 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4.
1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay. Yeah, well, itself, they are numerator and denominator. Yeah. Okay. Any other suggestion? It looks confusing this way, right? Having all stacked up together.
You can change it to like the same form as question D.
Question D. Okay, so write it in one line. So what you guys can do is you treat the middle line, the very middle line, this line, as a dividing. Okay, so you have a fraction on the top divided by a fraction at the bottom. Okay, so it's just written in this way, trying to confuse you, right? So you can rewrite this again, right? To make things look easier. And then divided by the denominator. When you divide, remember dividing means you need to reciprocal. So we're gonna do that at the same time. So multiplying, and then you flip the denominator. Okay, so what should go into the denominator now? Colin, what will go to the denominator?
So x minus 2 is the denominator.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so you'll flip it, right? And then the numerator will now be the x squared plus 3x. So it's like two fractions, but then they write it on top of each other. Okay, so when that happens, it means dividing. So when you divide, you need to flip the second fraction. Okay, so once you get there, then it's similar to question A and B, right? Because it's multiplying now. But then remember, the original question is dividing. So when you check restrictions, there are 3 places. Okay, so please complete this one. Raise your hand when you finish. Okay, this one will go straight to final answer. Right? So factor this and then cancel things out. Has anyone found the final answer? Okay, Sarah, what's your factor for denominator?
Plus
1 more time.
3. X plus 1.
X plus 1,
X plus 3.
x plus 3, okay. And Nathan, do you have the factors for numerator?
I'm just for like for 3, how do you factor that?
Which one?
For the numerator, it says like x squared plus 3x. How do you factor x squared plus 3x?
Yeah. What is the first method that we learned for factoring?
I forgot that.
GCF. You always check GCF at the start, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have GCF for this one?
Yeah, x.
Yeah, so you always do that first.
So I could just take out an x and I'm left with x plus 3.
Yeah, okay. So that's why we learn GCF. If you check the notes, right? GCF, you do it at the front, at the start, and also you double check at the end, right? You see if you miss any GCF. So once you take it out, if there's still more things to factor, then you apply other methods, okay? So when we can start doing the cancel out, right? X plus 3 is gone. X minus 1, no, X minus 1 is not. X minus 2, right? X minus 2 cancel out with the square, okay? So you should be left with X minus 1, and then X plus 1, and X minus 2. Okay, restrictions. This question is a dividing question, right? So you need to check 3 places. Okay, if you did not check places, you will be missing restrictions. So what are the restrictions for this one, Brendan?
-3, -1, and 2.
That's all? You only look at the denominator, you have to look at numerator.
Oh, and 0.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so because the denominator used to be denominator flip up, okay? So 3 places. Does anyone have questions about restrictions? Okay. If you only look at the denominator, you will be missing the 0. Okay, can you raise your hand if you have no question about this one? Okay, Eric and Nathan, do you need more time for this one?
No, I don't need more time. I just forgot to raise my hand. Sorry.
Okay, Eric, how about you?
I'm just looking at it because I'm just a bit confused.
Which part? Which part are you confused? Eric?
I think I got it because I factored it wrong.
Okay. So we just use GCF and cross multiply, that's all, okay? There's nothing too fancy about this one. The only problem is it just set up in a very confusing way. So just rewrite it so it looks easier. Okay, question D. You have a lot of exponent -1, okay? Can anybody tell us what does those exponent mean? Like, what do we do with those exponents?
Yes, flip it around.
Flip it around, very good, okay? When you get a negative exponent, that means it can go to the other side, okay? So for example, if you remember from exponent rules, if we have 2 to the -3, it just means that the denominator has 3 more 2's than the top, right? So it's the same as 1 over 2 cubed. Okay, because it's the same as 2 to the 0 over 2 cubed, right? 0 minus 3 give you -3. 2 to the 0 is 1. Okay, so negative exponent, it just flips it to the other side. So what you can do is just rewrite it first. Okay, to get rid, so then you can get rid of all the exponents, right? So each one of them has a -1, right? So you can just flip everything. Okay, times, and then used to be denominator, will go to numerator. And then you just work on this one, okay? But something, be careful about this one for restrictions. Remember the restriction is for denominator, right? So denominator will be these two, right? But then the numerator used to be denominator as well, right? Because of flipping. So in fact, for this question, just for this specific questions, you need to look at all 4 because all 4 parts has been denominator before, right? So for this question, restriction, you need to check 4 places, right? Other than that, right, everything else is the same. You factored it and then reduce it, okay? So please complete this one and raise your hand. Have you finished? Raise your hand when you finish all of them. Okay, Eric, when you finish factoring, please tell me all your factors. Eric, Eric, do you have any question about how to factor?
No, I'm just like finishing the thing. I have x minus 3 over x minus 1 times x plus 1.
Okay, second.
And then x plus 2 times x plus 2 over x plus 2 times x minus 3.
Okay, very good. Yep, they're all good. Now we just need to cancel out. X minus 3 gone. X plus 2 is gone. Nothing else, right? So just x plus 2 over x minus 1, x plus 1. All right, so how about Aaron? What's the restriction for this?
Positive -1, -2, and 3.
Yeah, so everything you see basically, right? So because it's 4 places. All right, so that's all for today, and I'll see you next week, okay? So have a great weekend.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. And Eric, please
Bye.
stay after class.